This is the hidden 2x2x6, my puzzle for day 17 of this year's puzzle advent calendar. The advent calendar is a series of 24 daily videos across many different YouTube channels, featuring a unique new puzzle every day. Check out the playlist linked below to see the 16 previous puzzles, and subscribe to Mr. Puzzle so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Anyway, back to this. It's called the hidden 2x2x6, but it really just looks like a non-proportional 2x2x2 cube. And in fact, it is a fully functional 2x2 puzzle. So, where are the other 4 layers? Well, if we move a corner in a certain way, we can see 2 additional layers. Each corner is actually hiding 2 extra layers underneath. So if we move all of the corners outwards, the puzzle becomes a fully functional 2x2x6 cuboid. So that explains the premise. Now let's explore a bit of how the hidden 2x2x6 was made. When I first had the idea to make a 2x2 cuboid that can hide some of its layers, I 3D printed a very basic prototype of the concept. The parts move around like cuboid layers, but the outer piece can move inwards and cover the inner piece. This showed that my idea was possible, so I got to work designing the version I would actually be building. It looks somewhat complicated, but everything serves a purpose, so let's go through how this design works. This is a 2x2 extension mod, and the inner layer is connected directly to the 2x2. The central layer hooks into this inner layer and moves around it as you would expect. Finally, the big corner hooks into the central layer, moving around it. When you want to switch to the 2x2x4 mode, you align the big corner with the lower layers, pull it back, move it down, and then push it inwards. In this mode, you can't access the central layer directly, but the big corner manipulates it to move around the inner layer. Finally, if you pull the big corner back and move it downwards again, then push it in, the puzzle is in the 2x2x2 mode, and all of the movements are made by using the inner extended mini 2x2. You can also switch between the 2x2x6 and 2x2x2 modes directly without stopping at the inner level. The problem with this setup is that nothing holds the big corner in place when you simply want to use this puzzle as a 2x2x6. It can flop backwards, which is quite annoying. To mitigate this issue, I designed a movable part that allows the big corner to move backwards when it is retracted and prevents the big corner from flopping around when it is extended. It goes into the split central layer piece as such. It just hooks into this hole here, and then the other half will hold it in, like so. So here it is retracted, and here it is extended. In order to allow this piece to be controlled externally, I put a small part of a cut spring behind the moving part, so that by default the big corner would stay on its current level, and when it's time to switch modes, I pull the big corner back, which would compress the spring and retract the part. Let's see how this plays out when the piece is assembled. Let's test it out. The big corner moves quite smoothly in the 2x2x6 mode without falling backwards. I can also pull it downwards to get it into the other modes. This works pretty well, so I think I will assemble the rest of the puzzle this way. In its 2x2x2 form, the hidden 2x2x6 turns more or less fine. It's not the smoothest turning puzzle ever, given that the base mini 2x2 was never really intended to be a speed cube. However, other than some occasional catches that could have been prevented with better fillets, there aren't really any major issues. Aesthetically, I'm not the biggest fan of how this puzzle turned out. The short corners were implemented out of necessity rather than choice. This makes the puzzle look quite odd and misshapen when scrambled, although since I consider this version a proof of concept, issues like this aren't really anything to worry about. Additionally, if you look at the puzzle from certain angles, you can see the stickers of the hidden layers, which is an unintentional feature or issue depending on how you look at it. Just for fun, let's scramble and solve the hidden 2x2x6 in its 2x2x2 form. Now that it's solved again, I'd say it's time to take the hidden 2x2x6 inside and see how it works as a full-fledged 2x2x6. Off camera, I converted this puzzle back into a 2x2x6. Now that that's done, let's talk about how it works in this form, or to really be more accurate, the major issues plaguing it when it's like this. To put it simply, this puzzle suffers from 3D printer related issues. The design is fine, but the printer's tolerances were all wrong, making the outer layers turn quite awfully. The outer corners are too loose in their tracks, and in mid-turn they catch on other parts that shouldn't actually be in their path. Let's make one turn to show you what I mean. After some effort, the turn is finally complete. Now, for the inner cut, the bad tolerances make this turn incredibly stiff, which isn't helped by the central layer being a bit difficult to grip. Let's turn this one as well right now. So yeah, I consider this puzzle solidly in the proof of concept stage. Ironically, the experimental move of shifting the corners up and down to hide layers actually works really well, so I consider this a successful learning experience. And in the future, when I can print dimensionally accurate parts, I would love to revisit this concept and fix some of the aspects that I don't really like. As for this puzzle though, I'm going to try and scramble it as a 2x2x6 now. I'm not going to solve it on camera though, because wrangling with it could be a bit difficult, and it solves exactly the same as a normal 2x2x6, so it isn't a new solving experience. Well, I consider this puzzle scrambled. That's all for today. Thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Mr. Puzzle so you don't miss day 18 of the 2020 Puzzle Advent Calendar. And check out all of the amazing creations already presented in the Puzzle Advent Calendar playlist. Take care.